Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Wade Watches. I'm Wade. Welcome to another awesome, amazing, fresh out of the movie theater review, where today I just got through watching Weapons. This is the latest film from director Zach Cregger, who, of course, bought us Barbarian in 2022, a film that I wasn't as in love with as a lot of, other horror fans, and definitely not as much as the critics. I thought it was a solid slow burn film. I like, that build up. I like kind of like even the misdirecting tone throughout the film, misleading tone, kind of subtly kept you guessing. And I definitely liked the show don't tell approach that it had. But the reveal and the ending were just kind of meh for me, you know what I'm saying? And that leads me to Weapons, where once again, I like that slow burn approach. I like that mystery buildup, because this film, of course, revolves all around a mystery. Why did these kids in a specific teacher's classroom go missing at the exact same night, at the exact same on the exact same night at the exact same time? Why is this happening? So I like that mystery. I like that slow burn approach. I like the suspenseful tone that it had throughout. But ultimately, I'm walking out of this a little bit underwhelmed by, once again, the reveal, the why of it all. When we get to why this is happening, I'm just kind of like, that's it, like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I was hoping for, just simply put, just personal preference. This is just my personal opinion. Of course, as always, I was just hoping for something different. That's all I can say. And that is just a personal preference, because even though the reveal let me down, I won't stand here and say that they didn't execute it well. It was executed well, and I like the way that it wrapped up for the most part, but like, just the why of it all was just kind of like, but let's get into what I did like about this film. And what I did like is, like I said, it's the same with Barbarian. I like how this is first and foremost like kind of a slow burn thriller, more so than a straight up horror movie. So and it's kind of like on the marketing and the trailers for kind of misleading people, like horror films tend to do. So if you're expecting like this non-stop fright fest, I feel like you're going to be disappointed, because this is first and foremost a mystery film. It's a build up. It revolves around like this, resolving this unanswered question, and that is what it is preoccupied with. When it does get scary, when it does get frightening, when it does get intense, because there are some scenes, I thought they were scary. I thought they were well done. I thought they were well executed. It doesn't have those dreaded fake out jump scares left and right. When it does have jump scares, they're actually pretty effective, pretty creepy, pretty terrifying. And what is done with, there's an effect done here that actually looks like the stuff of nightmares. So I'll say that as well. I enjoyed all of that as well. Everyone in the film does a good job, and that's very important, because this is one of those like Pulp Fiction type films where you kind of get like this situation through the eyes of multiple characters. So we just don't follow one single character for the entirety of the film. We follow multiple characters and their reaction to the situation, their role in this situation. And I like that, jumping around, just seeing this play out through different characters' eyes, and therefore we get to see more revealed, because we're following around different folks in this town and not just one single solitary person. That definitely worked for me as well. But like I said, what ultimately brings Weapons down for me is that why of it all. I just didn't, personally just didn't find it engaging. I didn't really find it, incredibly shocking. Like, what? That's what this is? I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, of course, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, that's what this is. So, and I also felt like it's one of those things where, and again, Zach Cregger did this with Barbarian, where I guess the goal here was to once again show and don't tell. Like, you're not gonna get like a rundown of what's going on here and why this is happening the way that it's happening, and that's fine. Again, Barbarian did that, and I actually like that about Barbarian. But here, I think you might have needed to have maybe shown a little bit more, so I could really understand why this went down the way it did. Walking out of it, kind of like, thinking on it and reflecting on it, I think I get what was trying to be said here, but maybe just a little bit more, just like a pinch more would have been helpful to see. And that's all I have to say about Weapons. As always, I want you to go in blind and see this for yourself and make up your own mind. You might absolutely love it. And I was going to say, if you absolutely loved Barbarian, if you're a huge fan of that film, I think you'll really enjoy Weapons as well, because it is that same slow burn buildup. It is that same, it makes you wait for a while to, get to that reveal. And I feel like if you didn't mind, like, the reveal in Barbarian, if you like the why of it all, maybe you'll like the why of it all with Weapons, or maybe you'll be like me and say, like, really, that's it. That depends on you as an individual. I want you to go in blind. I want you to experience it for yourself. So that's all I'm going to say about Weapons. Good, it's fine. It's an enjoyable little horror mystery, but it's not mind-blowing. It's not up there on the same level as Sinners or 28 Years Later or Locked. Three horror films that all three of those I gave perfect 10 out of 10s to. I thought they were all masterpieces. I thought they were all well done. This film is being marketed as being on that same pedestal as one of the best horror movies to come out in recent years. I respectfully disagree with that, but that doesn't mean it's a piece of trash. It's still a solid horror film. So wrapping it up, I'm gonna go ahead and give Weapons a solid 8 out of 10. Just good, enjoyable, but nothing happened in it to blow me away. So there you have it. For the record, I gave Barbarian a 7 out of 10. So one thing I can say is that I did like Weapons a bit more than Barbarian, just like all around. I like the story here a little bit better. I like the mystery here a little bit better. And even though the reveal was a bit of a letdown, I liked the ending of Weapons a bit better than I liked the ending of Barbarian. So I could say that about it, but still, Zach Cregger hasn't delivered a horror film that's really, like, blown my socks off. But I hope he does one day, because I see the promise. I just think that I'm waiting on him to give me a reveal with one of these films that I personally find terrifying and genuinely unsettling and genuinely shocking. But he hasn't done that quite yet. But it's all good, because Weapons is still an enjoyable film throughout, and it definitely still has its unsettling, creepy, scary moments. So if you're a horror fan like me, if you like gore and all that morbid stuff, you'll still get that in spades here. So it's an 8 out of 10 for Weapons. This has been another edition of Wade Watches. If you've seen Weapons, feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you've seen here today, and I'll see you lovely people next time. Peace.